when I came into farming, I always knew that I was going to have to do something a little bit different to try and make myself a living. You know, it's not a particularly big farm, 100 acres, and I knew that I was going to struggle to make a living off 100 acres. And I always sort of had my eyes open for something different. I guess the word diversification has been bandied around forever now, but you know, I probably started 22 years ago when I went from sheep farming into deer farming. And then as a consequence of deer farming, all of a sudden I produced all these lovely animals, and I had nobody to sell them for me. So I thought, and then I acquired the skills of slaughtering and butchering, and then I went out on the road and started selling to hotels and pubs and the catering trade. And gradually it evolved that the business became a butchering business. And frantically the farm was trying to produce loads of product for me to sell in the butchering business. Our farm, sort of 15 years ago, had a lot of deer on it, and we felt that there were too many deer and that we needed another animal just to sort of break up the farm a bit. So we went into bison farming. In those days there were very few people doing it, and we were only able to buy four breeding animals. So it's been a long, slow process of developing a bison herd. I think as the business has evolved, you end up prioritising things, and the most important segments of IT, I think, are obviously accounts. And I think we've got the accounts just about right. I wouldn't say it was perfect, but I feel personally, because I do the accounts myself, that I sort of have an understanding of the business as we go along. I think what we miss out on is the marketing element of IT. You know, the skills to develop, you know, newsletters and update websites and do the sort of internal marketing in the shop, like, you know, big signs and labels and that sort of thing. Not only have we not got the skill, but perhaps we haven't even got the technology. You know, our computers are very basic, and I think to do a lot of the more imaginative things, you need better quality printers, and the hardware and software both needs to be upgraded. 4 years ago we built this great big farm shop and restaurant, and we're now trying to attract people onto the farm. You know, we've got lots of different income streams. I think that's been the most important thing. And IT is a big part of that. You know, we developed a website a few years ago. It's probably a little bit out of date, and that's probably one of my my sort of lack of skill. I'd like to know more about how to do it, and the internet, although we get a few sales, we don't get nearly as many as we could do if we worked at it a bit harder. And we've got lots of ideas to develop that too, but not enough time to put it into action. I've always thought that one of the strengths about our business is the fact that we've got lots of different income streams. But it also makes the business very confusing. And we couldn't do all the IT things that we want to do because it would just be so expensive. And we end up having to prioritise what we want to do next. And I think as we go along, we identify the priorities. I think the website is essential. I think it's very out of date, and it needs to be modernised, and it needs to be kept up to date regularly. I think those people whose business grows because of their website are the ones that keep it up to date all the time. I'd also like to be doing a lot more marketing, newsletters, flyers, you know, mail shots on email and all sorts of things. And we go out and about, especially through the summer months. We go to food fairs and shows and so on, and we're spreading the word about our business. But the marketing, the sort of the marketing element is lacking, and I don't think we draw as many people here as we could do.
So if you were starting Wallaces again now, with what you know, what would you do differently this time? In terms of IT?
I wouldn't get out of bed and work.